If everything goes as good as it possibly could for the Dallas Cowboys in 2025, it probably means wide receiver George Pickens is on another team in 2026. That's not necessarily a bad thing. In the scenario in which Pickens ends up on another team 1 year from now, the good scenario, it's because he upped his play to such a level that he showed he can be a team's clear WR1 option. That would likely put him out of the Cowboys' price range. Dallas already has the NFL's #2 highest-paid wide receiver in perennial NFL All-Pro CeeDee Lamb, who signed a 4-year, $136 million contract extension in August 2024. Until Pickens can show he's elite, we might be in for quite a treat watching the Cowboys this season after they traded with the Pittsburgh Steelers for Pickens on May 7th. George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb on the field at the same time is a nightmare, ESPN's Mina Kimes said on a recent episode of The Mina Kimes Show. It really is, said Kimes' guest and former NFL offensive lineman and Super Bowl champion Marshall Newhouse. I know everybody's, oh yeah, if you get good George Pickens, okay, sure. But if you're a defense, you're anticipating it's the George Pickens who consistently wins down the sideline, and now you have to deal with him and CeeDee Lamb, just as a defense. The pure math of having to deal with both of these two players and a quarterback who's capable of getting them the ball accurately and aggressively, watch out. No good game plan to try and stop Cowboys. Let's step into the shoes of an NFC East defensive coordinator about to face the Cowboys this season and see where it takes us. First off, the last time you faced the Cowboys, the quarterback was backup Cooper Rush and not NFL All-Pro Dak Prescott, who missed 9 games in 2024 with a hamstring injury. Prescott can make all the throws Rush couldn't. Second, how are the running backs? If the combination of Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and rookie Jaden Blue can Frankenstein themselves into what resembles a competent running game, then you have to respect the play action. This is the biggest question mark. Then there's the offensive line. They're elite. Your defensive line is hoping for a stalemate on most occasions, but they could easily get mauled up front by Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, and rookie Tyler Booker. Want to stop the passing game? Tight end Jake Ferguson was a Pro Bowler in 2023 and struggled without Prescott. He should be back to being elite in 2025. The final boss is Lamb and Pickens. Through his first 5 seasons, Lamb is a 3-time NFL All-Pro and 3-time Pro Bowler with 4 consecutive seasons of over 1,100 receiving yards and 38 receiving touchdowns. In 2024, Lamb had 101 receptions for 1,194 yards and 6 touchdowns despite missing 2 games due to injury and not having Prescott for 9 games. Pickens has at least 800 receiving yards in each of his first 3 seasons, including a career-high 1,194 yards and 5 touchdowns in 2023. In 2024, he had 59 receptions for 900 yards and 3 touchdowns in 14 games. There's no formation in which Lamb and Pickens aren't dangerous. The most enticing of those might be lining up Pickens in the slot and putting him in motion, or vice versa. Good luck trying to stop all of that. The Dallas Cowboys have made some significant changes this offseason in an effort to bounce back from their ugly 2024 campaign. While the hiring of Brian Schottenheimer as head coach and the big trade for star wide receiver George Pickens will turn heads, the Cowboys also revamped their running back room after struggling to get consistent production from this position last year. After losing Tony Pollard in free agency, Dallas relied primarily on Rico Dowdle and Ezekiel Elliott out of the backfield. Dowdle signed with the Carolina Panthers in free agency, with the Cowboys bringing in Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders to replace him. Elliott, on the other hand, is still a free agent, and it sounds like retirement may be in the cards for him as training camp approaches. Ezekiel Elliott reportedly contemplating retirement. Elliott broke into the league with the Cowboys as the number 4 overall pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, and he immediately looked set to become one of the top running backs in the game. As a rookie, Elliott racked up a league-leading 1,631 yards and 15 touchdowns on the ground, while also catching 32 passes for 363 yards and another score. That production earned him Pro Bowl and All-Pro first-team honors. Over the ensuing 8 seasons, though, Elliott never managed to reach those heights again. He earned a pair of Pro Bowl selections in 2018 and 2019, but his production gradually declined to the point where he lost his starting job to Pollard in 2022. Elliott spent the 2023 season with the New England Patriots, showing he had some juice left in the tank, but after latching on with the Cowboys again for the 2024 season, Elliott struggled and was eventually released in December. While Elliott latched on with the Los Angeles Chargers practice squad to close out the year, they ultimately decided not to keep him around. In free agency, Elliott has yet to draw much interest, although that could change once training camp officially arrives. If he doesn't find his way to another team, though, it sounds like the former Ohio State Buckeyes star could opt to call it a career. With no reported interest in free agency thus far, former Dallas Cowboys star RB Ezekiel Elliott could retire after 9 seasons in the NFL, Sportskeeda reported in a post on X. Should Cowboys consider bringing Ezekiel Elliott back to town? The 2024 season was a rough one for Elliott, as he quickly lost his starting job to Dowdle and ended up turning in the least productive season of his career: 74 carries, 226 yards, 3 touchdowns. Even though the two sides mutually agreed to part ways at the end of last season, Elliott has been linked to the Cowboys throughout free agency, so a reunion could be on the table. At this stage of the game, though, it would have to be considered unlikely. With Williams and Sanders leading the way, there isn't much room for Elliott to make an impact. The coaching staff would also likely prefer to give those additional touches to 5th-round rookie Jaden Blue and Deuce Vaughn, who has flashed big play potential early in his career. Elliott could land elsewhere, but as of right now, it'd be a surprise if he found his way back to Dallas. It feels like only yesterday when the Dallas Cowboys war room was excited about the selection of Mississippi edge rusher Sam Williams. The 56th overall pick in 2022, Williams was an exciting pass-rushing prospect. He was a missile off the line of scrimmage. His ability to bend and accelerate to the quarterback made him an intriguing player that the team added to their defensive end arsenal. Over his first 2 years in the league, Williams was buried behind a very deep Cowboys edge rushing unit. He finished with the 5th most defensive end snap counts in both 2022 and 2023. That's because Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence were the bread and butter of the edge attack force. At the same time, Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler were productive veteran defensive linemen who had no intention of stepping aside for this young buck. Despite being on the shorter end of playing time, Williams made the most of his opportunities. He had 10 tackles for a loss and 3 forced fumbles in his rookie season, where he finished 5th in voting for Defensive Rookie of the Year. There was no shortage of splash plays where he was found sacking quarterbacks or body-slamming ball carriers in the backfield. Slam, Williams was a real thing. Sadly, the moment a great opportunity presented itself, Williams wasn't around to take advantage. After Armstrong and Fowler left for Washington in free agency last year, the table was set for Williams to have his breakout season. Unfortunately, a knee injury in training camp ended his season before it even started. Williams' recovery is going well, and he is expected to be 100% entering training camp. That's great news for a guy who is entering a contract season as he is in the final year of his 4-year rookie deal. If there is a time to shine, that time is now. While his health is better, the young pass rusher enters an all-too-familiar situation where he finds himself once again in a crowded position group. Guys like Lawrence and Chauncey Golston left in free agency this year, but the team has reloaded over the last 15 months. Starting with back-to-back seasons where the team selected edge rushers Marshawn Kneeland and Donovan Ezerwaku, suddenly the team has a couple of young players whom they'll want to give playing time to. The Cowboys also addressed the position in free agency this spring before Ezerwaku fell into their lap in the 2nd round of the draft. The team signed 2 former first-round picks in free agency, Dante Fowler and Peyton Turner. The addition of Fowler is particularly worth noting as he is coming off a double-digit sack season and should be a key member of the Cowboys' edge rushing rotation. Last season, the Cowboys were hit hard with injuries along the edge, forcing them to reach deep, relying on players like Golston and Carl Lawson. This year, they're stacked with talent, which poses the question, what does it all mean for Williams? As it stands now, it's going to be difficult for the team to find enough playing time for all their edge rushers. Kneeland is entering year 2, and he should see the field plenty as he's one of the better run-stopping defensive ends. Fowler is the team's fiercest sub-package pass-rushing option, so his role should be well-defined. Williams could slide in as DE number 4 in a best-case scenario, but what happens if either the rookie Ezeruaku or the free agent Turner starts turning heads? Even with keeping a safety net depth surplus of players, the team could find itself a little saturated at the position group if one of these new guys is showing out. Training camp will provide more data, but if the Cowboys are in a situation where they are 6 players deep at defensive end with no ability to give everyone adequate playing time, they should look into reallocating their resources. Imagine a healthy Williams on full display in preseason games against third-string offensive tackles. What kind of buzz could that generate? Could they flip him for a player who could provide them a greater service at another position? Or possibly help replenish next year's draft capital? With a deep group filled with many young homegrown players, Williams could be the odd man out. Other factors might come into play as well. Does he have the strength to help against the run, or is he just a one-trick pony? Does he approach the game the right way for the new coaching staff, whether it's character, mental processing, or overall effort? These are legit questions that will reveal themselves soon enough, but there's a range of outcomes that could find Williams on the trading block as final roster cuts approach.